Support Name Explain on Patreon for ad-free videos, exclusive podcasts and blog posts, and to help choose what names get explained. Click the link in the description. A single letter place name might sound like a rather odd concept. Imagine visiting the historic city of D, or maybe spending a weekend away in the natural surroundings of J. These ideas of names very much buck the trend of what we have in mind as a concept for a name. But single letter place names are actually way more common than you might actually think they are. Like Wikipedia even has a whole list of them. The letter D lends itself as the name of a river in the United States. E is used as the name of a mountain in Japan and a river in Scotland. O is the name of a river in England and a river in Japan. And there's even a commune in France simply called Y. Why? Why not? These are very strange names, that's for sure, but they're fun to talk about and probably make a map maker's job far easier. Though it seems that the most popular place for single letter place names to be present in is in Scandinavia. And just as a quick recap, Scandinavia is a region of Northern Europe, which are heavily tied together culturally, historically, and most importantly for us today, linguistically. The three main nations that are considered part of Scandinavia are Sweden, Norway, and Denmark, though other surrounding nations like Finland and the further afield Iceland are also sometimes considered Scandinavian, though they aren't 100% Scandinavian for various reasons. Iceland because it's literally in a completely different part of the world, and Finland because Finnish isn't related to the other three languages. It's a Finnic language, which is more closely related to the Baltic state of Estonia than anything spoken in Scandinavia, though despite this it isn't classed as a Baltic state either. Poor old Finland isn't allowed to be part of any group. Anyway, this video isn't about Finland not being able to join anyone's clique. It's about the single letter place names of Scandinavia. Well, to start with, Sweden is home to the village of and Denmark has a hill by the name of Wikipedia tells me that these accented versions of the letter O both mean island in their respective languages. As I mentioned, the Scandinavian nations are tied together very closely linguistically. However, that's only two Scandinavian O names. That pales in comparison to a single letter name that's present in all three nations of Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. That being the single letter name of Ur. Let's talk about this letter for a moment. To us English speakers, it looks a lot like an A, and it is in fact derived from the letter A, but that little circle over the top of it, which is simply called an overring as is a ring over letter, makes it a unique letter unto itself, and gives it a completely different sound too, as I most likely butchered pronouncing just a moment ago. It appears as a unique letter in the three alphabets of Danish, Swedish, and Norwegian. What ties all three of these languages together is the fact they all come from the common ancestor tongue of Old Norse. Nowadays, these three languages are called the North Germanic languages. This explains to us why these three languages are somewhat understandable between each other. Three people could be having a conversation in Swedish, Danish, and Norwegian, and they'll be able to somewhat understand one another. At least that's what the internet's told me anyway. If you speak one or more of these languages, let me know if that is the case. There are two other popular North Germanic languages too, Icelandic and Faroese. These two languages, however, do not feature this letter in their alphabets, despite being North Germanic, most likely due to these being languages spoken on islands, so they took more unique paths. However, this letter does appear in the Finnish alphabet, and as we established, Finnish isn't a North Germanic language, so why is this letter here? Well, it's seemingly a point of contention among the Finns. The Finnish alphabet is based on the Swedish alphabet, hence why it is here. However, the letter isn't used in any native Finnish words, and is only used in Finnish loanwords from Scandinavian. Swedish is also a mandatory language for Finnish students to learn in schools. Swedish in Finland dates back to when the land of Finland belonged to Sweden. This is a point of contention as many Finns aren't happy that the Swedish language still plays such a vital role in the land, and feel that Swedish's use should be lessened. Many argue that Russian should be compulsory in schools, not Swedish, as Russian is spoken by more people in the land and has somewhat more linguistic ties to Finnish. This resentment of Swedish in Finland is encapsulated in the letter of Imagine having a letter in your alphabet that serves no purpose in your language. It'd be like having a random piece of Japanese kanji at the end of the English alphabet. In Finland, it is also known as the Swedish O, and is seen by some as the symbol of the Swedish linguistic invasion of their mother tongue. If you happen to be Finnish, I would love to hear the realities of the relationship that the Swedish language has in your nation. Am I blowing it out of proportion, or is it really that debated? I'm just some guy in his basement in England after all. Sorry, that was quite quite the tangent. Finland is getting way more of a spotlight in this video than I anticipated. Let's stop looking to a land where this letter's use is debated and focus on somewhere this letter is widely used, as Wikipedia lists no less than 14 places across the Scandinavian nations of Denmark, Norway and Sweden that have this letter as their name. There's literally more Ors in Scandinavia alone than there are Londons across the globe. Well, according to this article anyway. There's probably more Londons, but you get the point. Why is this lonely letter such a popular name in Scandinavia? You may think this was done on purpose. Odd names do draw the eyes of the curious, and we've seen places give themselves weird names for the attention, like we saw with a certain long Welsh name. Unlike that long name, this little name wasn't a publicity stunt by any means. Sometimes single letters can function as entire words unto themselves. Here in English we have A and I. These are just letters that can be used to create bigger words, but they also function as words unto themselves, with A the word being defined as not any particular or certain one of a class or group, and I the word being defined as the nominative singular pronoun used by a speaker in referring to himself or herself. In the three North Germanic languages of Danish, Swedish and Norwegian, the letter Ur is much like A and I we have here in English. Sure, it's a letter, but it can also be used on its own as a word, and its meaning as a word is a little easier to grasp than that of A's and I's, as in these Northern Germanic languages, the word of Ur simply means small river. This meaning should hopefully make things a tad more clear as to why this name pops up so much across Scandinavia. If you're a long-time viewer of Name Explain, I'm sure you know how often places and settlements are named after nearby bodies of water, especially rivers, from the likes of Amsterdam being named after the Amstel River, to the nation of India being named after the Indus River. Water is crucial to life, so it's no surprise that people set up settlements by rivers and then name said settlements after these rivers. Scandinavia is a part of the world that is known for its fjords, and the rivers big and small that run through it, so it makes sense that the name would be so popular in the region. However, despite its popularity, it doesn't seem that anywhere major has this name. Most places with this name in Scandinavia are just small villages or remote places. It'd be cool if there was a city or capital in the land with this name, that's for sure, but Copenhagen, Stockholm and Oslo will suffice, I suppose. However, Ur is used in the name of some more populated places. It's just accompanied by other letters. Take the Norwegian town of Ålesund, or the Åland Islands, an autonomous area in the Baltic Sea where Swedish is spoken, but it actually belongs to Finland? What did I tell you about being in this video? Shoot, get out of here. Anyway, some settlements have ditched the letter altogether and instead replaced it with a double A. This can be seen with the Danish city of Aalborg, which is known as simply double A by the locals. Though it seems that the most popular Ur in the world is a village in Norway. This small village has a population of around 1,000 people. It's located in the Moskenes municipality, at almost the southern tip of the Lofoten archipelago, that being the series of islands that jut off the northwest of the nation. The first mention of this village dates back to 1567, where its name was actually spelled AA. However, it was changed to the name it has today when the Norwegian language was reformed in 1917. Originally, this town was little more than a small fishing village, and it seemingly stayed that way until the 90s, as it was in this decade that it became popular with tourists. There are many reasons why people from around the globe will want to come visit a small fishing village like this. First off, because people want to see an authentic slice of a nation. They want to get off the beaten track, and you don't get more off the beaten track than a tiny village on a tiny island in the north of Norway, do you now? Lonely Planet describes the village as something of a living museum, a preserved fishing village with a shoreline of red fishers' huts, cod drying racks, and picture postcard scenes at almost every turn. And Ur have accommodated their booming tourism industry with museums dedicated to the fishing villages of Norway. Though a key reason people visit the village is because of its diminutive name. Strange names always allure people, and Ur certainly is a strange name. A cycle route from Ur in Norway to B in Nebraska has even been set up. It's literally A to B. One of the most popular tourist spots is without a doubt their welcome sign. Road signs and welcome messages that feature ridiculous names are are always popular with tourists, much like we saw with a certain Welsh town. People are of course tickled by seeing a road sign with just one letter on it. In fact, so many people get a kick out of this single letter road sign that it has a habit of being stolen. Stealing road signs because of the names featured on them is a whole thing. I wouldn't recommend on the account it's illegal, but it's an interesting topic and one I may dedicate an entire video to in the future. Of course, a road sign just labelled Ur has caught the eye of many people over the years, and the sign for this village has been stolen often in the past. To try and combat this, a different sign was put up which read Ur i Lofoten, which referenced the archipelago it is situated on. While this solved the issue and made the site far less valuable to name nerds and sign stealers, it created another issue, and that's that it made the town far less unique. As mentioned, its name is one of its points of interest, and street signs are often the most physical representation of a place name. No one wanted to take photos of this new sign, so after locals complained, the original sign reading just Ura was once again erected. How many times it has been stolen since then, however, I couldn't find out. Nevertheless, despite how many other places around the world have single letter names, and there being an abundance of Urs across Scandinavia, because of the popularity of this village with tourists and name enthusiasts, the village of Ur often gets the title of the shortest place name in the world. The shortest place name was suggested by Janet N, and thanks to their suggestion, they will now be honoured as Name Explain's patron saint of the shortest place name. Do you have a good idea for somewhere that name could be covered in a Name Explain video? If so, then please consider donating on Patreon. Just $1 a month helps keep the channel running and earns you a weekly chance to suggest somewhere to be turned into a video, and you too could be a Name Explain Patreon saint. Thank you to all my patrons who support Name Explain on a monthly basis. Patreon is vital to Name Explain, and donating just $2 a month allows you to enjoy ad-free videos and bonus Patreon exclusive content. It also allows you to help choose what names get explained in upcoming videos, and gets your name here with all these awesome people. Thank you so much for all the support you guys give Name Explain. Hello all, and thank you so much for reaching the end of the video. Check out another video and subscribe to stay in the loop on all things Name Explain. You can find me on Twitter where I'm at NameExplainYT. On Instagram I'm also NameExplainYT, and on Facebook just search Name Explain. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again thank you all so much.